Again, I'm Jennifer Tacha, VP of Community and Client Customer Success at Common Genius. Common Genius is the industry leader of bringing together the best of the best across industries. So that's product and design leaders from Airbnb, Facebook, Lemonade, Google, Netflix, all the jazz hand type of tech companies, award-winning writers and authors like Ryan Holiday and Leah Hunter, top creatives in Broadway, media change makers, AI, blockchain, and technical leaders. I mean, we've got you covered. Today is pretty exciting because we have a special. So we recently launched our membership, so you can actually get access to leaders like Clinton for every week. You'll get a free 20-minute free 20-minute meeting, which I'm pretty excited about. So we'll talk more about this later. But again, Common Genius. What gets me most excited is that our experts are changing lives, right? We hear incredible stories on the weekly about careers accelerated, companies funded and scaled, incredible products developed, health and wellness goals achieved, just folks leveling up in a big, bad way. And this is why we do the work that we do at Common Genius. And also why we were named one of Forbes' top startups to watch. So the quality of our experts makes all the difference, and it's experts like Clinton Senkow, right? So let me talk a little bit about Clinton because he's amazing and a good human for the cause. Hi, Clinton. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Jennifer, and the whole team here at Common Genius. So I'm really excited to chat with everybody and provide some value for everyone who's taken their time out of their day today. So I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. I've had a lot of coffee today, so I'm pretty excited. So Clinton is, we're going to talk a little bit about how to scale your business and brand through partnerships. Clinton is co-founder of Influencive. He's teaching millions around the world about entrepreneurship, success, blockchain technology, and more. He's a 3-time winner of G20 Entrepreneur for Canada. He's named by Forbes as a can't-miss speaker. I'm going to say all the things right now, Clinton. He is a contributing writer for TechNode, Thrive, Global, and Forbes, and his work has been featured in Inc., Entrepreneur, CTV, the Huffington Post, Startup Grind, all the things to name a few. He's also on the Forbes Business Development Council. So we are just so excited to have Clinton in the mix today. He's going to be waxing poetic on all things partnerships and how to scale. He's actually raised working with all different, companies, everything from startups to hospitality brands and media companies, anywhere from 500K to 30 million. So he knows the drill. Clinton, I am going to pass the baton to you and then circle back in.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for the warm welcome. And yet again, I just wanted to say thank you to the team at Common Genius. Thank you to everyone that's taken the time to be here with us today. And I wanted to just have a few quick slides here just to go through, give you guys some actionable tips that I hope that you can take from today and take into your business. Go use today, use it right away. And these are a few things that I've just kind of been able to help me with my ventures, with my businesses and the companies I've worked with or advised or consulted with over the last 5 to 10 years. So basically the 4-step method that I want to talk to you guys about today is the step 1 is identify, step 2 is secure, step 3 is leverage, and step 4 is maintain. So when I say identify, when the way that you got to think about partnerships just in business in general is not every person, every business, influencer, brand is going to be a perfect partner for yourself. You need to identify the different types of brands and influencers, people that are going to help support what you're doing, and you can also support what they're doing, right? So really that whole identify piece, and I get into this deeper with a lot of the different materials and stuff that I do with companies, and we can dive deeper into these, in calls, later. But with that identify piece is you really need to come out of this as, okay, not every company is going to work for me, or not every person is going to work as a partner for me. I need to identify. And something that I like to call kind of like a dream 15 is kind of what I call. And basically the way that I look at it is you pick 5 kind of companies, brands, people, celebrities, whatever it is that are like your dream 5, like I want to be able to partner with them. And basically with that, you also pick 5 that are maybe on the same level as you. And with the 5 that are on the same level as you, then you also pick 5 that you could actually help with. So with the 5 that you can help with, maybe you're a little bit more on a higher scale than them, or you've accomplished a little bit more, and you know that you have an asset within your business that you can help them with. So with that, what I would suggest is identifying that first step, just to identify 10 to 15 companies, that brands, people, influencers that you can connect with, that would help support. Is the sound still not working?
I can hear you fine. How about, yeah, okay, we've got a couple people that can hear you fine, and then some folks that
I can hear perfectly. Thank you for piping in. Yes, I appreciate that.
Thank you. Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you can't hear, we'd recommend that you jump off and then come back in.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So sorry, I just wanted to make sure, because when I see those comments in there, I just want to make sure that people can hear me. But I'm glad that the majority of you can hear me. So anyways, so moving on from the first step. So the second step is secure. So secure in the second step of the method. You can also kind of, one word that I like to use is secure, and another one is also attract. So one way that I like to kind of tell people in businesses and brands that I work with is, not everyone's going to be a good fit for you. You shouldn't be going for any brand and every brand or every influencer or celebrity. But you also need to know how to attract those types of brands. You need to know how to get those brands or people to listen to you, right? It's the days of cold calling, sending cold emails are very likelihood. They're not as personal. They're not as successful, at least what I find when I'm seeking partners or when I'm looking to build relationships with people. So with that second step is, how can you attract those brands? And it's going to come into your marketing. It's going to come into your branding. It's going to be coming into the messaging. It's going to come into who your potential customers are, what industries you're in, what you specialize in, what you can help other businesses with. And really that piece that you want to use is how can I secure? How can I attract these, what do I have to offer, right? Ask yourself that question. What do I have that's an asset in my business today that I could use to land a partnership with another company, say in a similar industry, that I can complement and they can complement me, and we can work on something together and we can partner together so we both win. Think of it always as a win-win relationship, a win-win partnership. That's what you need to do in business. You can't go into it as, what's just going to work for me? I just need what I want. You can do that. That's only that's short-term thinking, but think long-term and think about it as a win-win situation. And then the third point there is leverage. So now that you've secured a partnership, you've been putting some feelers out there, you find, the different types of influencers or brands or companies that you want to partner with, and you think that would work really well with what you're doing, or you can help assist them. Now you need to start leveraging them. The way that you can just keep kind of turning this over, and I'll get into this on the next slide, because I kind of call it as a rinse and repeat, is once you kind of find that winning formula for yourself, for your business, for the company that you're working with, whatever it is, and you find that formula that works, because every formula is going to be a little bit different. And I want you to kind of take little things and try them and obviously test. Is now that you've partnered with Coca-Cola, or you were featured in a major media outlet, or hey, you were on this really big podcast, leverage it. Put that on your marketing material, put that on your website, put that on that new brochure that you're creating, put it on your email signature. Start leveraging those partnerships. I feel like a lot of times entrepreneurs, business owners, sometimes we just get so bogged down with so many different things, right, that we forget to kind of leverage some of those wins that we get. So make sure that you're leveraging those partnerships that you do secure with the different brands and companies that you have. And then the last piece here is actually has to deal with maintain. So one thing that I think a lot in business kind of sometimes gets overlooked is we're so focused on winning the business, right? We're so focused on How can we, win this business, win this sale, win this bid, whatever. But we're not really focused on keeping that sale. We're not really focused on keeping that customer, keeping that person, and keeping them happy, right? And I think that fourth piece that's so important is that maintaining is, how can you maintain this partnership? So you've went through the deal, you guys are doing something for each other, or you're working together on a project, or you're putting together a live event, or whatever it is, you're working on a new product line together, and you're launching it together. Okay, so now how can you take that partnership that you've developed with them and keep them happy? Maybe it's sending small gifts on a different type of on a partnership anniversary, or maybe it's knowing when the birthday of the CEO is. Sending thank you letters. It's really, how can you be different than your competition to really maintain that business, right? So I think that's a really, really important piece that I think is sometimes often overlooked. Because remember, yes, exactly, Brandon. If you guys all look in the chat, current customers retainment is so lost in executives' minds. You've heard it before, and I'm not the first one that you've heard this from, and I won't be the last. It's a lot cheaper to keep a current customer than go out and find a new one, right? So remember, when you win that business, you win that partnership, you have something going, you're starting to leverage that. How can you maintain that? Keep them happy. Find out what gets them going, what gets them excited, what activities they're in, what hobbies they're in. Be creative and come up with some really great tactics to really keep them happy. Okay, so the second slide here that I want to get into is just some keys to partnership success. So this just parlays a little bit in the 4-step method that I was telling you guys about on the previous slide. But this is the first point here. Some of you might be looking like, be a friend, not a fan. So I've had the pleasure of partnering and connecting with some really, really big people. I partnered recently. I was a strategic partner on a big launch with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi recently. I've secured partnerships with the World Economic Forum. I've helped raise a lot of money. I've secured partnerships all over the globe, working remotely, essentially. And I can do it in person, I can do it online, and I leverage as many different ways as I can. And something that I learned as well, and I played high-level sports growing up, played in front of thousands of people. I'm Canadian, so high-level hockey player, that's my background, and then came into business and entrepreneurship. And something that I tell people, because I see it happening, is when they go to conferences or they go to these business meetings, and someone that maybe is a celebrity or an influencer or a professional athlete, they want to go take that selfie. They want to go, they're at this dinner and, oh, come take a picture with me, and they go up, and you need to get that out of your mind of, how can I be a friend with this person that I admire, that I look up to, that's a mentor of mine, that I follow all their stuff on social media? How can I be their friend versus a fan? Because I know these people, I have relationships with these people, and when you are a fan, you can see it right away, and they're going to put you in the fan box, and it's going to be hard for you to be that friend or be that business partner or be that acquaintance, because that's where you'll see the long-term game come into effect, is if you're going to work towards being a friend with your partners, with these influencers, celebrities, whoever it is, brands, you're going to see that the long-term gains versus, oh, hey, I just got a selfie with so-and-so from this business conference. You're going to see that in the long term, you're going to get a lot more benefit from it. Okay. And then the rinse and repeat. So I kind of touched on this just on the past slide, but basically with rinse and repeat, once you've figured out that winning formula for yourself, or something has worked for you, so you started to reach out, I'll provide some tips here for you guys too, is I use a lot of unconventional ways to reach out and to connect with people and brands and everything. I use social media. I don't really use email. I'm direct messaging people. I'm connecting with them. I'm writing on their comments. They have a really great post. I retweet it. I'm commenting. I want to start conversations with people, right? I think we don't do that enough. We need to be curious, to start conversations with people. like their stuff, share it. Don't ask for anything in return. Just keep providing value, right? Once you figured out that winning formula for yourself, for your business, start putting it in rinse and repeat. You found that one partner, or you worked on doing a live event with a company that complements yours. And now that you find that winning formula, do it again, or do it a little bit bigger, and just keep going. Because with partnerships, it's one of the greatest ways that you can build and grow your business, because you can take your assets that you have as a business and someone else's assets that they have, and you can put them together and you can make something great, right? So it's not just you and your business doing everything. It's another business or another person, carrying some of that weight, and hey, let's do something together and build and make more impact. You'll build more revenue for your business. And it's a lot of fun in the process too. And then the last point here is I put is start small. So I've been talking about, how I've been able to, connect with some really high-end influencers, entrepreneurs, people that I have really great personal relationships with, and world-class organizations. But I didn't just go after those people right away. I started small. I started from the bottom. I started to build relationships with people. I've invested years into these relationships with people to get me to where I want to be. And I'm not anywhere where I want to be yet, because I'm still working. I started small, and that's where, if you are today thinking about how you can start to leverage partnerships in your business, the biggest takeaway that I can give you right now, and you can take notes on this and jot them down, is start thinking about assets that you have in your business that maybe you're not leveraging as much. Okay. And when I say that is, maybe you have an email list of, say, 5,000 people. You send out an email once a month or once a quarter or whatever. Okay, that's pretty decent. But maybe there's a company that has an email list, say, of 1,000. They're your target customers, and maybe there's some sort of campaign, maybe there's some sort of contest, maybe there's some sort of live event that you guys could collaborate on, and you could share that new customer pool. You could share your email list with their email list, or they have some sort of expertise that can really lend great to what you're doing, and find that. So one of the first things that I want you to do is think of the assets that you have in your business right now that maybe you're not leveraging as much, because that's where you'll find a lot of the opportunities and a lot of holes that will give you ideas of how you can leverage those. And that's where I'm more than happy to dive deeper in that with you, with anyone here attending. But those are the two kind of main slides that I wanted to just kind of get in there with you. I hope you got some value from that. I'm gonna, dive a little bit deeper in this with Jennifer, and hopefully answer, any questions that anybody has here as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Clinton. So I just saw actually a lot of people joining. So for those of you just joining, we're here with Clinton Senkow, co-founder of Influencive. We're talking about partnerships and how to scale your business and brand. He is a leader in this capacity, right? Taking startups and companies from 500K to 30 million plus in this regard. So really, really excited. Also, if you don't know Common Genius, hopefully you do, how Common Genius works. We have experts, we have thousands of experts actually, industry leaders in everything from AI, VR, gaming, VC, branding, leadership, wellness, and of course, partnerships as well. And they're the best of the best, right, in their respective industries. And so what's really exciting is for those of you on the webinar today, you can get access to leaders like Clinton on the weekly, a free meeting every week for a year for $100. So, $99. So -1 if you use this coupon code InfluenceCG. So really, really excited just to have Clinton in the mix here. I'm going to ask him a deeper dive. So between Clinton and I, we've actually, I think we've raised over 60 million, right? So we were talking about, which is pretty exciting, right? So that's no small number, right? So we talked about business development and sales and relationship building. And a lot of people don't those are very different. I would love to hear from you, Clinton, about how they're different, and how startups and companies should think about them differently when building out strategies and teams.
Yeah, I love this. I love this question, and I love this area because it's honestly something that I've came into realization over the different years of the capacities I've worked in, from sales to marketing to business development to partnerships. And I kind of came to this realization working with many different startups, whether they were crowdfunded, whether we raised private funding, venture funding, all the above. I've been involved with companies and startups that have done it. And when it comes to sales and business development, and you're an entrepreneur or you're a startup, small business, doesn't matter what you're doing. Sales and business development should always be different. And let me tell you why. So sales and business development are not the same. And sales is more short-term. It's transactional. It is what is going to help push your business forward. It's super, super important. A business doesn't succeed without sales. You need sales right now. It's very transactional, okay? Business development, on the other hand, is more relationships, okay? It's more long-term. It's more about building that relationship with, a type of person, investor, company, brand, organization, whatever, that over, say, a longer time frame of, let's say, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever, could bring you and your business several clients or, multiple clients. It's something that can overpass you going out today and just going to make a sale for your business. And that's where I think if you are an entrepreneur and you are a business and you're a startup, there needs to be separate areas for business development and sales, because people that are good salespeople are good at selling things right now and moving the needle right now. But business development, some people are really, really good at building relationships with people and really taking that and turning that into something that is, you didn't even think it was impossible to have a relationship with this person or a relationship with this organization or a partnership with them. And they saw it and they cultivated it and they brought it into something that is truly amazing. So that's where to answer that question, I see sales as transactional and I see business development as relationships. And one's short-term and one's long-term. And that's kind of how I differentiate the difference.
Oh, that's so good. So both are important, right? And when 100%. We're talking about building out a partnership program, right, for driving scale and revenue and sales and all bells and whistles, how do you even start? Like you kind of a little, you address this in terms of perhaps a target list, but is that where you start? Like where do you, assets, target lists, like what is that?
I think really two areas that I did touch on, but you can get a little bit deeper is I think, developing that list of assets you have as a business, right? So it's what are you really good at, or what do you have access to, or what is your business all about? Who are your target customers? Because the way that partnership strategies can come and partnership programs can be developed is if that your customers, let's say, are 30 to 40-year-old females that live in the Eastern USA, and they like health products, let's say, for example. Well, there that is your area, that is who your target customers are, and you need to develop, okay, so what could I offer, or what do I have access to? Okay, maybe I have 300 paying clients. I have a community. Let's say you have a community membership. I have 300 paying clients that are in that demographic. And now that really narrows your partnership kind of structure down to, okay, so let's find a partner that has that same customer list, that has that same demo, that is, located, say, in the Eastern US, in a city, a state, whatever that's close to me, and something that we could collaborate with, whether it's an association, whether it's an organization. Think of it this way. I think when it comes to partnerships, a lot of businesses, there's like, obviously chambers of commerce and stuff, which is, very straightforward, but there's a lot of really great associations out there. Whether you're in HR, whether you're in, supply chain, whether you're a sales, marketing, all that stuff. There's some really, really great associations that, have people and paying members that are right in that demo for a lot of businesses and a lot of business owners. So how can you build a relationship? How can you find a way to build that, that partnership with them that really helps move the needle forward on your business? But I think starting small obviously is key, right? So don't go after, the big fish right away. Like if you tell me today, okay, I want to partner with Coca-Cola because I have a new energy drink that I think they will want to, use or something or buy from us at one point. It's like, okay, well, you shouldn't go to Coca-Cola right away. Is what's the plan to get to Coca-Cola? Start small, go in local, get in a few stores, really generate that buzz, build a community that's just loving your product, loving what you're doing, and work your way up and go to these different events, start building relationships maybe with people at Coca-Cola. Don't float anything towards them, but start building the relationships and work towards it. See that long-term gain versus that short-term sale essentially is kind of what it is don't sell too early. Don't try to sell people too early. Try to build that relationship, build value with people kind of over the longer term. But really developing that list of assets, the dream type of clients and customers and people that, you can help or they could help you. And really just start hitting the pavement and go find them and start relationships with them and start communicating and start sharing their stuff. Go to their store, go meet the owner. Like there's so many different ways, right? Every person is different. So don't think that my formula or my way of doing things is the only way. You need to start using different things that can work for you and just keep testing and trying and keep going until something works.
So good. And also I want to remind everyone, you have literally one of the biggest deals in business development and partnerships on the call right now on the webinar. So we want to ask questions because we're going to be doing a Q&A in a bit. So please put your questions in the chat. And Lucy Sue, our senior marketing manager, will be aggregating everything, and then we'll do a Q&A in a bit. So please send. I think we only have a couple, so I'm challenging you all to, chat your questions.
More than happy I'm more than happy to answer questions too. You have me here, so share some more insight on your business or whatever it is, or a problem that you're having, and I'd love to dive a little bit deeper with anyone on the call here.
Awesome. So I want to back up a little bit, Clinton, because I'm gonna fan out a bit, right? So you have an incredibly impressive background, right? Tell us a bit about how you got to, you talk a lot about how you can build a business from anywhere. Like that didn't just happen. How did you get to where you are today? How, tell us a story and how you got there. Also, maybe like what's your secret sauce? I'd love to know.
Honestly, so just the background, just kind of on myself. So I grew up a high level hockey player my whole life. And I actually went to college on a scholarship in Canada for 4 years, got my business degree. I played junior hockey across Canada for 3 years after high school. So I wasn't someone that went to college or university right away out of high school. I went when I was 21. And that's when I went to college. And I was someone that was always very competitive in sports. I was never the goal scorer. I was never the the hero at the end of the game. But I was always someone that worked my tail off. I was always one of the hardest working people out there. I kind of consider myself, whether it's business or in sports, a grinder. I was a team player. I knew my role. I've been on the championship winning teams. I have rings to prove it, but I've also been on the losing teams where you win 7 games out of a 62 game season, where, I thought about quitting and I thought about, just hanging up my skates and saying, okay, I shouldn't be playing this anymore because we suck. And I took a lot of that experience that I got from sports I bring that into business, and I brought that into the startup world, and I bring that into the tech world, and everything that I've worked with, and the companies that I've helped found and just help build and grow today. And I think it's important to just go out there and do, and not worry about failure. And that was something that I did. Is I was always someone that I've always had high hopes for myself. I've always wanted to achieve lots, and I still haven't even achieved half of what I want to achieve in my lifetime. But I was always someone that I knew I kind of had a vision of what I wanted in my life, and I know that right now all of us on this call, we're living in one of the greatest times of life, really, where you can really build a business, build a life around your passions, and really not the days of working for a company for 30 or 40 years and getting a pension are very slowly dwindling away.
Yes.
And if you don't see the opportunity in front of your face, the fact that we have supercomputers in our pockets, the fact that we have access to internet and Wi-Fi, anywhere we go in the world, and that doesn't open up your eyes to think, okay, so my job is right now sitting in this office and I'm on a computer all day. Why am I doing it from, just this office or just this place of work that I have to come in? Like, maybe I work better at home. Maybe I work better at nights rather than in the mornings, and something that I've kind of come to develop, and things that I do, and kind of the people that I hire or work with is, if I'm hiring you today, is I think in today's day and age that if you don't trust your employees to work from anywhere and to get the job done, you probably shouldn't have hired them in the first place. I'm not someone that is a stickler on where you work. You just got to get your shit done, to be frank.
Yes, so I love it. Yes.
Yeah. So you got to get I don't care if it takes you 3 hours to do a job that someone else might take 10 hours. That just means you're really good at your job. And I feel like in society, we put too many people, and too many of us are in boxes. And I was always someone that wanted to challenge that. And I was always someone that wanted to be different. And to provide more background on that is, I'm the only entrepreneur in my family. I don't come from an entrepreneurial family. The first company I started was when I was 17, believe it or not. It was in a company. It was a program called Junior Achievement. If any of you have ever heard of it, it's really, really great. It's a nonprofit organization, basically all over the world, in like 50 some countries and lots of different cities and states. And basically they teach you how to start a company. And at 17, I had a friend of mine that brought me into it. And we actually started a lip balm and lip gloss company, believe it or not, where we actually found a recipe online, bought all the products, created the concoction on our parents' stove, put them into the containers, put the labels on, sell them to our friends and family, went to craft shows, all that stuff. I was the VP of IT. My buddy was the president of the company. You actually sell shares in the company. You learn everything. You build a business plan. There's VP of marketing, all that stuff. And that was my first kind of foray into entrepreneurship. And then I went and played hockey for 3 years after that, and kind of I could have went and played pro after my years of junior, but I decided to go to college. So I got into college, did my scholarship, got my business degree. And then after that, I just knew that I've always wanted to start my own business and do that. And I just started working in startups, essentially. I always loved tech, technology, and I just saw companies were raising all this money, and there's all these great products and cool things that were coming out, and I just wanted to get involved. And I started low, and I was a global account executive and at one company, and then I was a director of partnerships at another, and then I got into writing and being featured in all these different media publications and winning these different awards and stuff. And then Influencive came around 2016, and then just one thing has just kind of happened after another, and it's kind of led me down this road to be able to. I'm grateful and thankful for being able to have an opportunity to build and grow businesses from anywhere in the world. Because like I said, we do live in an amazing time. And if you don't see that opportunity in front of your face, I hope you do now, because there's a lot of really great things that we can do.
Oh, I love it. My cheeks are hurting from smiling right now, Clinton. Yes.
Good.
So many snaps. Okay, great. Well, so you're co-founder of Influencive. Like, I'd love to hear a little bit more about Influencive, especially because, your tagline, right? It's like unconventional wisdom from some of the best influential minds, right? I just think I love
Right.
that. So, and you a little bit spoke to this actually, but a deeper dive, right? Like, what's the best unconventional wisdom you can offer for companies specifically scaling and growing right now?
I think when you see everyone going right, figure out a way to go left. Honestly, following the crowd is not going to really, make you a revolutionary company, or it's not going to turn any heads. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying if you want to really create a lot of change in the world, create a lot of impact, you got to be different. You got to think differently, and you can't be like everybody else. You really got to be comfortable in your own skin and be, it's not going to be easy. But I think that unconventional wisdom is, okay, we live in 2019. We all have computers in our pockets. We like free time, and we like to travel, and we like to do all these things. So how can you put all that together? That's unconventional.
Yeah.
Being traditional is saying I have to go sit in an office from 9 to 5. I only get 3 weeks of vacation every year. I have to do this. I have to show up here. I have to wait in rush hour for, an hour in the morning and an hour at night. If that's what you think is the only option out there, then I'm sorry, but it isn't. Like, there is more option. There is a lot of opportunity out there. And the way that technology is advancing, and the way that, the opportunities that are being created from this there's a lot of really great ways that you can live a life that you truly love waking up to every day, and you're passionate about. And I think that's a key to life, because I've had this thought in my mind from, I don't even know when, but probably teenager, maybe high school. I don't remember, but I was someone that I did never want to live my life with regrets. I did not want to. I had my dad that played professional football in Canada in the CFL for a year. And I played hockey basically my whole life. I never really played football. I was a good athlete, really good at a lot of sports, but I just focused on hockey. I was someone in grade 12 that I basically told myself was like, I have enough credits. I already know I'm going to get my high school diploma. Don't really have to worry too much. But I was like, you know what? Like, I don't want to get out of high school and be like, oh, how good of a football player would I have been? And so what did I do? I went and played football, even though I was the captain of my hockey team at the time. And also in grade 12, I played rugby. And then I was also on the track team. And after that was grade 12. And then after that, I just went and played hockey, and that's what I focused on. But the lesson that I hope you get from that is, like, I didn't want to look back at my life in 5 or 10 years and be like, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have, traveled more, or I wish I would have taken that job opportunity and, whatever, or my life would have been different now. I didn't want to live a life with regrets. And I know that if I didn't make a lot of those decisions and make a lot of the mistakes that I've made, I would be living a life right now with regrets. So I think is really that unconventional wisdom is really thinking differently. It's really being different than others, being comfortable with it. But really, that's what a lot of the great people of our time have done is, they don't follow the crowds. They create their own crowd. They create their own following, whatever it is. And they think differently than people. And that's just something that I've picked up from mentors and different people, along the way as well.
Ah, that's so good. And staying curious, right? I mean, you kept kind of testing and seeing what resonated,
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
So good. I love it. So I'll ask one more question, and then we'll open up for Q&A. So again, you have Clinton Senkow, co-founder of Influencive, on this digital roundtable / webinar / call. So I'd encourage you to ask questions and put them in the chat. So we can when we get into Q&A, you'll get some customized or personalized answers. So my question really is twofold. We talked about partnerships, and partnerships and marketing tend to be synchronistic, and sometimes folks forget this, right? How important is messaging and branding and storytelling in general in all of this?
So important. I love that you touched on that, because I think it goes hand in hand. And I think something that even just to take a step back from that is, I think it's when I say that sales should be different than business development in startups and in companies, they should be. Marketing is obviously different as well. But the thing is, with those three, it's the engine of your company. It's the engine of your success, and they all need to be synchronized, essentially. It doesn't mean that they're off in their own little silos and they don't communicate with each other. I think those three are super important. And when it comes to branding and storytelling and who you are as a company, that is who you're going to attract. That is who is going to want to do business with you, or who is not going to want to do business with you. And that's exactly the same thing as when it comes to partnerships. If you're telling a story that a lot of people don't want to hear, or are maybe turned off about, or maybe they don't agree with, well, those partners are not going to be attracted to you. But if you're portraying, your branding is on point, you believe in a cause, your messaging is positive, all these different things, it's going to attract those types of people. It's going to attract, hopefully the types of partners and customers and clients that you want. So branding and storytelling and marketing is so important to the success of your company. But it's also so important to partnerships, because I've seen it before. There's branding with companies, brands, organizations that I've seen that I don't like their branding or the messaging that they're sending out, right? Where I know that it's not going to align with my business, because what they're going after or what they believe in is not right for me. And that's, goes back to the same thing, is not every company out there is going to be a good partner for you, or not every organization, because if you're not aligned in some shape or form with that company, or you believe in the same values or have the same customers or whatever it is, it's just going to be more difficult. It's going to be a harder partnership to pursue, but also to close and also to maintain. But the ones that are easy and easier is the ones that you are on the same page. You do have the same types of customers. You do believe in the same things, and it does just all come together, right? So branding and storytelling is so important to success in partnerships, but obviously success in your business.
Love it. The other piece to that too, right? It's kind of like if it resonated with every partner, then perhaps you're not doing something right. I mean, there's a bit of milk there. Like, you need to be niche. You need to have your standout values and things. So that's great. So we're going to go into Q&A. You all definitely rallied. Thank you. We have so many good questions. I hope that we can get through all of them. All right, digging in. The first question comes from Marcus. He wanted to know, you talked a bit about maintaining your relationships. A lot of folks struggle with maintaining relationships, especially in an authentic way. So how do you do that? How do you, not lose clients? Just what does that look like? Maybe an example would be really helpful.
Yeah, no, I think honestly, one of the best ways to do that is you need to kind of take off your, let's say, business or executive hat and put on your personal hat. And what I mean by that is you really need to get to know your customer, really get to know your client. What do they like? What do they don't like? If it's a CEO of the company, do they have kids? What sports do they like? Do they like certain types of bands? Get personal with them. Just have normal people conversations. It doesn't always have to be business all the time, because you got to take it back the step of, who is it that we like to do business with, or who is it that we like to do deals with or partnerships with? It's with people that we like and trust. It's with people that, align with who we are, right? So if you are having trouble, maintaining a client, or you want to, find creative ways to keep that client and keep them happy, it's getting to know them. If you know that, they have, a wife that likes Starbucks or something, send them a $20 gift card to Starbucks randomly in the mail, saying, I love this campaign that we just did. Here's a gift for Sally or whatever. Like totally out of the blue, totally small, not anything huge, that could go a long way. And that's like a thoughtful thing that someone could do. I've sent gift cards before, remembering certain dates. Maybe it's a birthday, maybe it's an anniversary of something. But just really getting to know your customer, your client on a personal level goes a long way, because like I said, we do business with people we like and trust. So one of the best ways that you can maintain them is to get to know them and see what they like and what they don't like. And I'm not saying you have to, spend a lot of money lavishly on them or whatever it is, but, being thoughtful, being caring, being a good person will bring you more business in the long run.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Also, humanizing them, especially if they're a board member, or like you had, talked about some of the folks that you're working with, not being a fan, but a friend. Right. I think also like people love to talk not just about themselves, but, if they're parents, it really humanizes them too. So just finding those authentic connections. Awesome. Okay. We have a question from Annie. So Annie Shaw is asking about Instagram influencers. And it really works when you have a physical product to sell, like a beauty product or, clothing and such. How does it work when you have an intangible good to sell, like promoting a service? How would you think about partnerships in a different way specific to influencers and Instagram?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think that's something that, could be used and leveraged a lot more than it is right now. But what I would suggest is if you have a service that you're looking to partner with, say, an influencer that has an audience that you want to get access to, or you want to promote your business to. So what do you have that is going to be valuable to them, to this influencer? Are you paying, here's a simple way is there's a bunch of different ways that you can do partnerships. Is you can pay for stuff, right? So you can straight up, I'm going to pay for, this influencer, he's going to promote kind of like advertising, marketing within their audience. Or, maybe there's some sort of barter type agreement that you have something that you can offer them. But one of the coolest ways that I think to do it is interview them, ask them questions. Maybe there's a way that you can profile them on your page, really provide value to them. If you want to get access to them and their clients, is how can you approach it in a way where even it's just asking them a question. It's like, what are you focusing on right now? Or what do you need help with right now? Seeing what that is that they need help with. And if you're able to, fill one of those holes for them and kind of build a relationship with them, something really great could come from that. But I think if you're trying to leverage an Instagram influencer through a service that you have, it's, you could do an Instagram live with them. You could interview them on whatever, Facebook if you wanted to, or highlight them on your page, highlight them on your blog, whatever it is. But you've got to think of, do I have something of value that I can offer them or that I can do for them? So it's not about, okay, I have to buy them this or buy them that, or I have to pay. If you want to do that, you can do that. That's the way to speed up the process, right? But if you're looking at it from a scrappy, I'm going to find a way to make this work, small business owner, trying to get in my foot in the door here, it's building a relationship with them, finding what they're working on, what they're collaborating on. Maybe there's a contest that they're doing. Maybe there's a nonprofit that they're a part of that you can also join that, can do it. But I hope I helped that a little bit with your question, Annie. But if you do have, if I didn't touch it, please just in the chat box, just provide a little bit of insight there if that didn't, give you some ideas or answer your question the way that you thought it'd be answered.
That's great. Well, so Julie Y is actually asking specifically to the webinar, how can we scale our business and brand through partnerships? So she's asking for live examples. Can you give an example of what that can look like?
Can you say the first part again?
So literally the naming of our webinar, like how to scale your business and brand through partnerships, like what is an example of just that? Like a live example.
Yeah, so I think honestly, one of the few kind of lower hanging fruit things that are out there is really either doing an event in person or say doing an event online. And when I say an event, it doesn't have to be some conference, lavish, whatever it is. It's say, let's say, for example, you have a consulting business and you want to partner with this other consultant that maybe has a service that is not the same as yours, but it complements yours. What if you and that other entrepreneur consultant partner together and you're going to put together a weekend experience, say for 2 days for 20 people, you pick the price point, you pick the agenda, whatever you want to do. And you're going to help in this area because this is where you have skills that you can help with and you're going to help these people with. And then the other consultant or person is going to do this area. So by combining both of you together, you're using both of your networks, you're using both of your customer lists, you're using both of your, whatever, email lists, social lists, customers, whatever it is, you're combining forces. And say you're testing something else on a smaller scale. You could do a 1 day, you could do a half day, you could do a lunch, you could do, an evening cocktail reception, whatever it is. And the other way is to think about it is maybe you're a little bit more introverted, right? Maybe you're like, I don't really like social situations. I like to sit at home in my pajamas and, hang out on my computer type of thing. And that's fine. Because we live in an amazing time where you can do stuff online together. So, it could be as simple as putting together a training that you're going to do together, where you combine forces together online. You're going to do a webinar type training that you're going to do. You could do a live event online. You could, come together in each other's, pick a house or a location, and you guys are going to film a segment together that you're going to, provide value to your customers. In a setting, say in one of your houses or something, because you're like, I don't want to go to this networking event because I don't really want to do that. But those are ways that you can scale and build your business because you're combining forces with somebody else. And you're really being able to leverage and build and grow it and scale it faster because you're not just doing it yourself. You have someone else that you're combining forces with. And that's what I want to challenge you to think about is, how can I partner, collaborate with someone else that can help me with my business, but how can I help them with their business as well? Because when you can think of it that way, I think there's going to be a lot more creative juices that are going to be flowing. But I think events are great. Contests are great. Giveaways are great. There's so many different things, but it really just comes down to what can I offer and what can they offer and what can I do for them and what can they do for me? And how can we make this a win-win relationship? So always approach it as a win-win. Don't be selfish, because if you're going to go into a partnership and be selfish, it's going to be a very short-term partnership. It might work once, which is great. Awesome. You might get some sales and cool, you're happy, but it's going to catch up to you sooner or later. So always try to have that win-win relationship, because I think good things happen to good people in life, and it's the same in business. So, treat that relationship like gold.
I so love everything you're saying, Clinton. Yes, completely agree. Awesome. So a couple more questions, and you actually are answering, different ones as well as we go. Great. So Corey Robertson is asking, what type of strategic partnership structures do you see as beneficial for specifically financial service providers, right? So you touched on webinars and events, referrals, right? What could that look like for financial service providers?
Yeah, I think partnerships for financial service. Funny story actually is, so if you're a financial advisor or an investment advisor, insurance or whatever, I actually for a year, about like 9 months, I was in between some tech and startup jobs. I gave financial advisor a little go. So I've sold investments and insurance, certified and all that stuff. So one area that I think is pretty much a no-brainer when it comes to financial services, or if you're in that industry, is, those people that are buying investments from you or that are buying insurance from you also need other things, or they have other areas or other providers. So having partnerships with mortgage people, having, whether it's a real estate agent, partnerships with a real estate agent, whether it is, if you're going after, say, maybe your certain demographic, let's say you're going after a certain, say, ethnicity or something. Well, what type of associations are there that you could partner with and say, hey, I'm only focusing on Hispanic Americans in this area. I want to collaborate with you because I want to offer my services to your community. And I'm going to volunteer and I'm going to offer XYZ to you guys, or whatever it is. And that's a really great partnership that you could pursue. But I think when it comes to financial services, is don't just think of it as you selling your own services, is who else can you build a bond with a relationship with complementary services that are out there that your clients will want or need, or maybe they ask you for on a regular basis. And I think those are areas that you can easily have a really great Rolodex or a really good handful of people that you have really, really solid relationships with, that you trust, and you keep building relationships with them. You can call it a referral, but I would build it more into a partnership. How can it be something bigger than, oh, I'm just going to send you to this? Because I feel like referrals in business sometimes aren't as personal. But if you kind of build it as that relationship, as like a partnership, where, hey, I'm going to always send my customers that need mortgages to you because, we love the same things and we agree with this and whatever, and we just really get along with each other. So that's where I would say for financial services is look for complementary services providers that you can partner with to offer their clients your services and vice versa type of thing. But there's tons of events, there's tons of associations, there's tons of conferences. There's so many different things that you could really do. But if I would love to, pry a little bit further and see how, we could, design something better for you and really build and grow your business more through partnerships.
Great. So we have 1 more minute. There's one question actually from Ritesh. You're asking if we join for the $99, the subscription through Common Genius, do you have a limit on usage, or is it 20 minutes with an expert of our choice for 52 weeks? So for everyone on the webinar, if you use this code, right, you get, I believe it's almost half off of the 180 price. And you can get access to 1 free meeting per week with an expert like Clinton. However, Clinton is extremely busy. And so it is, how it all works is it is first come, first served. So I'd recommend that you have that context when looking at this. So yes, thank you for that question as well, Ritesh. So Clinton, I got so much from this, and I've been in partnerships for quite some time. So thank you. I think the number one takeaway that I'm going to get, right, is this piece around good humans, right, and usually successful astute. That was a resonating thread throughout this webinar. I'm so thankful that you touched upon that. For everyone on the call, what's one actionable insight and takeaway you want to leave folks with right now?
I think really is where you are today can be changed, you know, in the blink of an eye. You just have to go out and do it. You just have to start taking action on things. So whether you're not happy with the revenue figures that you're hitting, whether maybe you don't have the job that you, you know, aren't necessarily loving right now, you know, start small. Don't get caught up with, you know, all these short-term successes that are out there. If things don't happen overnight, really just start putting in the action, and see partnerships as a way to really build and grow your business with the help of others, and you're helping them. Because I think when we work together and we collaborate rather than compete, we can do a lot more. And that's something that I've taken into the businesses and clients and stuff that I work with is I want people and executives and leaders to start thinking, how can we collaborate, say, with these companies that we consider competitors right now versus thinking of them as competitors? How can we work together on something? There's a large world out there. There's a lot of customers. There's a lot of clients, right? So you got to really see it as there's a really big sea and there's a lot of fish in there. So I really just want you to start small. Don't think you have to conquer the mountain right away, but look at partnerships as a new way to really build and grow and scale your business because you're combining forces with somebody else. So I hope that really resonates with everybody here. And I hope to you know, have some deeper dives with some of you guys as well.
So good. Well, so you can have deeper dives with Clinton actually at commongenius.com. If you have any questions, please reach out to Lucy at commongenius.com as well. And thank you everyone for coming out. We're so lucky to have you in the community.